Maria. Good night, Ara. I see faces in the crowd that have been missing for a while, and you know why, but it's very nice to have you here with us. Yeah. Bruchim Aboim, very special welcome. This year is particularly special because we have a new menorah. This is new, and it's dedicated, as is the menorah on the Ganser roundabout this year, to my late mother, Hannah Elka Bas Chavamera, whose whole gist of life was about education. And education is one of the names of Hanukkah, which is Hanukkah from the word chinuch, which means to dedicate and rededicate it. Rededicate. She dedicated her life to Jewish education. We rededicate tonight's event and the whole of the Hanukkah events to her memory in particular. And right here, the menorah that we light here is thank God very new and modern. It should be easy to light, but we will see if that actually happens. You might recall from previous years it was very difficult to light, but we hope this year will be much, much easier. It's a very great pleasure to have you all here, and I'm sure you all know why you are all here. We're here to celebrate Hanukkah. Colleagues of mine of the Chabad Lubavitch movement all over the world are doing exactly the same thing, whether tonight or other days of Hanukkah. The only difference is if you go onto the websites, you'll see some of them have had short sleeves, some of them are fainting away in the heat, and others of them in the middle of the USSR, the former Soviet Union, etc. They might be freezing cold, the touch of what we had a few days ago, but a miracle happened. And the miracle is between yesterday and today we had the freezing cold of the former Soviet Union. It's almost as warm here as it is in Israel in comparison with how cold it was a couple of days ago. But why are we really here? You know that the story of Hanukkah is about the Greeks who tried to make us, the Jewish people, or an extension of that generation, to forget that the Torah and mitzvot, that the observance of Torah and mitzvot belongs to the Jewish people because it is God's Torah. The reason that we observe the Torah and observe mitzvot is not because we like to do it, it is because that's what the Almighty wanted us to do. And what they tried to do was lahashkicham Torasecha, to make you forget that it is your Torah, referring to the Almighty. And hence, all of these years later, 2010, thank you very much. You can have CST behind us, please, thank you. 2010, we repeat all of that which happened all of those years ago, and we take no notice of that which is going on around us, but on the contrary, we strengthen our resolve. We strengthen our resolve as a community, as a Jewish community, that no matter come what may, we will always stand strong because we are there to serve those that are around us, and always to be a lamp that can be considered as something which can be kindled and something which can be lit, and is there for a particular purpose, to be an oil agoyim, to be a light into the nations of the world, so that from us they can learn morality, decency, uprightness, and so on. And when we light the menorah today, we are reenacting that which happened at the time of the temple, whereby the Greeks at the time tried to make us forget about that which was spiritual. And today we prove it the other way by our observance and by our living in communities such as the London Borough of Redbridge, where we have numerous representatives here today, as well as councillors, the leader of the council, which will come to in a little while, which give us the opportunity to be able to observe our observances in this community in peace and harmony, sitting next to our neighbours of all the different faith, colours and creatures, that actually cultures that live in this community. For that we are very fortunate, for that we have to be very proud, and for that we should be very excited and continue to pay your rates, because that's what they need you to do. My dear friends, tonight as we light the menorah, I want you to do something which was very, very particular and important to my mother's life. That was learning, Jewish learning, rededication through education. Learn something new, learn something which you didn't know. Take a book, come to a shir, go to school, do something extra which you haven't done before, in order to rededicate our resolve that what we are doing is for the benefit of strengthening Judaism, strengthening our commitment, and making the world a brighter place. 33 years ago, when the Lubavitcher Rebbe came up with the campaign of lighting public menorahs, which are being done all over the world, many places in this country, but all over the world, his resolve and his idea was to remove the physical, spiritual darkness that exists in the world, that we are living in. There's much evil, there's much hardships, much difficulties, and the Rebbe wanted that through lighting menorahs publicly, stand in the streets and light a menorah, because through the lighting of a light, we remove darkness. It's the only way to remove darkness is through the kindling of light. And hence the Rebbe wanted us to do this 33 years ago when he began this campaign. And here we are today, continuing that which was important to him and continuing that which is important to us. And so I welcome you here tonight and I thank you for joining us. And while the weather is still dry and while we still have the opportunity, we're going to try and light this new menorah. You're the first ones to see it. We haven't practiced this before. It came out of a plastic bag just a little while ago, and hence we hope that it's going to work, and I'm sure you'll be patient as we get around. You see, everybody's excited that we're lighting the menorah, even honking along with us, and we like that. That's very appreciated. Right, we would like to begin tonight. We're making various other dedications as well. I want to begin by calling Keith Prince, who is the leader of the Landebau Rebbe's Council, who's going to light the Shamas for us.
Turn this way. The wick's been pulled out. Pull the wick out.
So good. We're doing extremely well here. We're now going to make the brachas since the Shabbos is now being kindled.
Yeah, so did I.
My dear colleagues, representative of the other rabbinate in the local community, I'd like to call him Reverend Newman, is going to make the brachas for the menorah. Can you all cough so you can help him cough a little?
Very good, very good.
Okay, we're on.
Oh, you know what, Joe?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher nishanu b'mitzvosav v'tzivanu la'adnei shel Chanukah. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'ason nisim l'avoseinu hayom imohem b'zman hazeh. Amen.
I'd like to call on my dear colleague, Rabbi Adam Brahman and Rabbi Moshe Muller, who you need to put your hands together for Rabbi Muller for all the effort that you put in together making. And you're here, you're lighting the menorah for us here, okay, as well. Alright, Rabbi Brahman is going to do on behalf of himself, my dear colleague in Marcus Hill, and also Rabbi Muller.
50 goals. Harold, do you like that?
I like this menorah. It's cool. It's a great pleasure to call on Mr. Brian Mitchell is going to light the third light on behalf of his family.
Well, they're all going to be a party.
The last light is actually dedicated to two people. Tonight is the yahrzeit of my dear mother-in-law, Devorah's mother, Yehuda's Bas Reb Yehuda. And I'd also like to dedicate this last light to a dear friend of ours, Moshe Chaim Shalom Meir, Melvin Plorner. And therefore I'd like to ask Devorah and Stephanie Plorner to come up together to light the candle together with me.
I was in Israel.
I want to go back. I'd love to go back. I went to the Western Wall.
Nice one.
Tomorrow night they're like 5.
Okay. 5, but it's only 4 left.
No, but they got more.
No, we're in gold. There's only 4 more left.
Yeah, that's right. That'll be the 5th one.
I'm sure that the Neshamas above are looking down with great pride, and they should be a good better for each individual family and indeed all of us here in Baal Modain in this world. I'm sure, please put your hands together. Our beautiful lighting was really, really done very, very nicely. And the shamas has gone up, but besides that we're okay back up there.
Be careful because it'll be hot.
It hasn't gone up.
One, the middle one, the servant one is flickering, but it's not old, is it? It's old.
I think it's gone out.
Oh, the little boy's gonna like that one.
Oh no,
It's gonna have to pop that. Is he
but I think the only one with it. Put your lolly about you hold that. They should all have one, is that right?
Yeah.
Before you put it up.
For the night, the little one, the servant one.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. Look how that was there. That was well done.
Oh really? Is it yours? Okay, never mind. It's there. It's there. It's there in spirit. All together, please. What tune is that? I don't know that tune. All together, please. ביומים האפס מנזר, ועל ידי כנך הקדושים, וכל שמוי נסיכי חנוכו, עדי רוי סלונו קודשי, ויש לנו רשות להשתמש בהם, עדי רוי סלונו